universities to create social business centers to offer courses on social business, because this is not part of their territory at all. So open courses, give degrees on social businesses, give executive courses on social business, and so on. 100 universities in 38 countries now have social business centers teaching what this is all about. I'm not big fond of the education system as it runs. I said this is the wrong education system. I would rather get you out of it. I will give you a little example of what it is. I was talking to you about the young people with venture capital fund, lending money, giving money to them, invest in their proposal. We campaigned all throughout our career in the Grameen Bank that all children of Grameen families must go to school. We will ensure that you go to school. If you need financing, we'll do the financing for you, etc., etc. And they did. All children went to school. Some went to colleges, some went to universities, because once your finance is not a problem, there is no difference between a child of a poor person or a child of a well-off person. They are same talented young people. So they did it. And they sit around and they complain to us, why did you send us to school? Now we went to school, we don't have any job. I don't know what to do with it. So I've been listening to this complaint. Every time I meet these young people, they say, well, you made the wrong thing sending us to school. We cannot do the things our forefathers did because we went to school. You destroyed us. So I was trying to think, did I destroy these people? Then came up with an idea. Started calling them in batches. Asked them. They said the same thing. I said, you know what? Your mother is a Grameen Bank borrower. That's why you came here. That's why we said, give you the money. Your mother took the money from Grameen Bank, started a business. She didn't come to Grameen Bank to find a job. We never talked about job. Then she started a business and took the second loan, third loan, fifth loan, and you're here. She sent you to school and we helped you to stay in school. So now you went to school, you are telling that you give us a job. I said, you know the difference between you and your mother? Your mother is a natural human being. She knew she has to work. In her own, she has enterprise. All she needed the money. And once you give the money, she immediately got into action. You are now folding your hands, sitting when the job will come, sending application, otherwise I don't do anything. You are an artificial human being. Education system made you into an artificial human being. Only thing I can suggest to you, go back to your mother. Learn from her. How did she think? And if you come back, then you realize that she had something you never had in school. And come back that you can do the same thing as your mother did if you give me the money. And we'll be ready for your money. And that's the reason we created this venture capital fund. And it's been wonderful. We have now, it's about 6 years or 7 years, we have more than 100,000 young people with college degrees and so on. We become entrepreneurs. Every day, every week, more and more are joining. That's it. So this is the difference. So should we continue the education system which produces job seekers? Or we should transform this education system to unleash the energy of human being as an entrepreneur. I will rather do that.
So fundamentally, the challenge that we have is to transform the artificial human beings in real human beings.
Exactly. But the problem is that given that now the span of people you're dealing with is in the millions, no? And I think that your personal views are extremely inspiring, and the fact that, I mean, it's interesting because when you were talking about COVID, you mentioned the most important thing was to put everybody online on Zoom so that they could talk, reforming the group. So this idea. So how can you make sure that your teaching can spread around and are taken up by some large group of people without being, changed or spoiled, if you want? I mean, it's to keep your real strong message.
Let me put it this way. When I'm talking to a big group of people, 500 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, I'm talking about what we do, like here, you see?
Yes.
Like here. So people ask me, do you think you have convinced them? I said, no, I never try to convince them at all. That's not my job. I tell what I do. I'm not trying to convince them. I said, I'm not talking to the 1,000 people in front of me. I'm talking to one person who is somewhere hidden in that crowd, absorbing every word I'm saying. And think about it. Think about it. And he or she will say, I'm going to do it. And that's the person I'm talking to. That's how it works. It's not a massive campaign, everybody joins it. It's not like that. But we do the massive campaign thing, at least we're trying now. We encourage young people to think of creating a new world. This is our theme right now. We said this civilization is going to destroy us completely. It's on the way to destruction. We have to build a new civilization before the current civilization destroys us completely. And the young people, it's your job. If you want to survive, and you don't fall victim to the extinction that is coming, then you have to get action and create that civilization and create this world that we are talking about, world of 3 zeros. That's the thing that came 3 zeros. Zero net carbon emission, zero wealth concentration. These are the mega problems. Zero unemployment created by the artificial intelligence. So you have to get ready for that. Create that 3 zero world.
You also want to put poverty museums, right?
Yes, that's poverty in the museum. I said poverty is not natural to human being.
Yeah, exactly.
It's human being is everything a human being needs. Simply our stupid thinking, our stupid way of designing things, push people into all these problems. If you remove all those, as I said, is a bonsai tree. If you remove all those things, they will be naturally human beings with taking care of themselves. So what we are now asking the young people, form 3 zero clubs. 5 young people agree to form a 3 zero club and ask themselves, how do I address these 3 zeros from my side? Can I reduce global warming that by reducing my contribution to it, not everybody else's, my contribution to it? If I'm using fossil fuel, can I reduce 10%, 1%? If I'm using plastic, can I reduce 1%? If I'm eating meat, can I reduce 1%? That's it.
Yeah, I have to think every time I take a shower in the morning.
Yeah.
Can I keep doing it?
Whatever the way you define it, do that. So all you have to do, take a small step.
Yes, you're right.
In the zero global warming and zero zero wealth concentration and zero unemployment. I said, what you do through the 3 zero club, one point you become a 3 zero person. Then we celebrate that you have become a 3 zero person.
Professor Yunus, this is a fascinating thinking, by the way. Is all written here in this book, no? Un mondo 3 zeri, come eliminare definitivamente povertà, disoccupazione, inquinamento, is exactly what Professor Yunus is telling us. But I'm sorry for my very naive question, but you are an economist, but this looks like very political thinking. It's like a political program.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, is this your interpretation? It doesn't bother me. The first question came to me when I started microcredit, and it's still in one village. And my former teacher in Bangladesh saw me at one time. Do you consider yourself an economist? I said, I don't know. What do you ask? You're doing things which, somebody can do it. It's not an economist's job. I said, who said I'll do economist's job? I'm trying to see if I have a problem, can I solve a problem? That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to protect my level that I'm an economist. I forgot that I said, I feel guilty that I spent time in learning economics. That has pushed me into the absolutely wrong direction. I have to unlearn this many, many ways so that I can open up my eyes and see things clearly. Then what economics has blinded me with.
Please go ahead. And you see this 3 zero objective as a brutal reset or a progressive program?
Depends on how much time you see you have. I say you don't have much time. by the time, if you talk to young people, by the time you come to the middle ages, probably one will not be there. So you have to act very fast. Your children probably will have no chance at all. So it's a question, even IPCC report tells us that within the next 10 years, we'll be crossing 1.5 degrees Celsius and all those kind of things. So there's a unanimous voice. So simply we don't care. We're so used to our own life, whatever we do. We don't care whether the world exists or disappears. I'm here. My children I'm giving everything to my children so that they can flourish and so on. But our house is burning. That's the truth. And inside that burning house, we are having parties, having fun. I said, we have no time for fun here. First thing to do is to stop the burning. Otherwise, we don't exist. We are the most endangered species on the planet right now.
Yes, I think that that is a very strong warning. And going back to what you were saying, whether it's more a political statement than an economic program, I was going to ask you now, what would your borrowers that are unable to give you back money? The question I was asking you: are you disappointed with them? And no, and the idea of thinking whether you are disappointed with them, a completely different perspective of the one of a banker that would say, well, they failed and now they're out of my program, I kick them out, or I take their house or whatever. It's a completely different approach. Whereas I'm sure you would be disappointed because in the sense that it's an educational program what you're talking about. Even though it's different from standard schooling, but it's an educational program. So in the sense, you would be disappointed a little bit like a school teacher, like a professor. No, I think that's. It seems to me it's a little bit the way in which you deal with. Am I right? Or
yes, you're absolutely right. I'll be disappointed, not on the person, in myself.
Okay.
So that's the difference. I'll be disappointed in myself that I couldn't find a way to help him. Can I do better?
But the individuals are not all the same. So some of them, maybe they fail in doing their business. They don't manage, not because of you, but because they...
Some fail, some fake.
Some
fake, cheat you.
Yes.
They can pay, but they wouldn't pay.
Exactly.
It's possible. But the fact that we could not reduce it, we cannot eliminate it, is my problem.
Okay.
I have not been smart enough to design something which make them
So
easy.
again, it's the approach of an educator, not of a bank. You see,
I never wanted to be a bank.
No.
That was
But you founded a bank.
I didn't want something to bank.
We have some few minutes left. Can you tell us more? Why do you believe that poverty, unemployment, and pollution are connected?
One thing leads to another. So, as I said, the system works simultaneously on other. People get hit at the bottom harsher. If you create pollution, they become the victim. One of the area that we concentrate among many things that we do is the healthcare. And that's why I just mentioned in the beginning, we are so adamant to bring the vaccines in an affordable way to everybody and so on, take the patent right over them. And you mentioned that where the money will come from. We face that problem. We argued with those companies. I said, tell us how much money you spend. You keep saying that you spend. Give us a number. If you give us a number, we'll pay you. Get it out. Make it free. They don't say the word. I said, you tell us how much money you took from the government. This government gave you the money. And then we tell the government, don't give them the money. Because they use your public money, it's taxpayers' money, and make it billions of dollars personal profit for themselves. What kind of idea? I said, if I were a government, I will use this money to create a social business pharmaceutical company, rather than give the money to... This is completely one-sided thing. You are giving money to people to make more money, and using the crisis situation so that they can make more money for themselves. I said, this is the wrong policy. So we are not beyond that debate. And there are many people who design all those things, very dedicated people. They said, we're very happy to work with social business if you could come up with it. So, and these people belong to universities. They're not there paid servants of something. And most of the universities where all the research done, all the facilities in the laboratories of the universities have been used to develop those things. But they didn't give any penny to them. And at the same time say we spend a lot of money for that. We have to keep a lot of talented people. All talented people don't belong to you. They are very committed people, dedicated people, but they were not given an opportunity to do that. So we concentrate on health issues very rigorously to see the health issue is globally is designed in a wrong thing. People at the bottom don't get the health service. It becomes more and more expensive on the top. So we are trying to redesign the whole thing, create, first of all, pharmaceutical companies, start with the pharmaceutical company as a social business. We run hospitals as a social business. We have a series of eye care hospitals as a social business. We have health centers in the rural areas as a social business. And our first eye care hospital took about 4 years to come to the break-even point. We celebrated it, we made it. And the second one came in 3 years to the break-even point. So now they are returning the money that we invested. So as the money comes, we put the third eye care hospital. And then all the money coming from the fourth eye care hospital. This is the beauty of the social business. You can create a chain of that. Now we have created a digital health services with the hospital. Our idea is, again, we have not actually implemented it because hospital is not running yet. We are constructing the hospital as a social business hospital, 500-bed hospital. We're saying staying in hospital bed is very expensive thing, no matter where you are, because lots of things goes behind that hospital bed. So you have to pay for it. And if you stay there 1 week, 2 weeks, because the doctors don't want to allow you to go, then you become absolutely pauper because all the money that you have to pay. What we are trying to see, experiment now, we'll say we'll get you out as soon as we see you're stable, get you back to your home. Your bed in your home will be declared as a hospital bed. We'll bring everything in a virtual way. We'll make all the things. Doctors will be attending you, finding out what's happening. All the records will be maintained. You will be patient of the hospital. Just because you went back to your home doesn't mean you got disconnected from us. So this is the direction that we're taking.
I think we have to. I think that what is interesting and what Mr. Yunus has introduced is also the theme of the big gathering that will take place in Turin, I think.